All right. Let's see how fast they register. How fast are you going to register? All right, where's it at? There we are. There we are.
Hey, yo, the lies told that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, candles open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes win. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose when I get to, never lose smooth on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running it, maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision that pay me, it's never the sway me. Indigenous, maybe we winning this crazy. Your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. This your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. This your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. This your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity.
Woo! Welcome one. Welcome all, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Lion Villlin Report, and it is August the 5th. August the 5th, 2024, and we are Lions training camp, and we have a preseason game this week on Thursday. Broadcasting live right now into the Lions Villain Squad Facebook page right there. 52,000 villains. Thank you very much for supporting our channel. Joe Chap and the boys over at the Detroit Lions News Podcast. Thank you very much over on Roku, the Huddle Sports Network, along with JC Sports on YouTube. Thank you very much for supporting our program as we get into the Lion Villlin Report. I am joined by one of my compadres right here, Main Event Mike. How are you doing today, Mike?
Good morning, villains. Good morning, Russell. As we speak, the Lions and the Giants are knocking heads right now in a joint practice. How exciting.
That is so exciting to me. I listened to Dan Campbell this morning, and they're pretty excited over there for the competition of just a real quick go over of what he was talking about. He's just really excited that Frank Ragnow gets to go up against Dexter Lawrence, and that Aiden Hutchinson gets to go up against somebody other than Penei Sewell for the week. And they just get to butt heads and, a couple bulls out there getting better with the New York Giants. Mike, what do you think of joint practices?
I think Dan Campbell loves it. He's expressed in the past that he prefers those over preseason games. He thinks they're more beneficial for the team. They get more coaching, right? They get to teach more. And they're just overall better. Those preseason games are just a showcase for the third and fourth stringers and their chance to battle it out for a roster spot. And on this team, roster spots are very, very few and far between. So these joint practices really give Dan Campbell an idea of where his first and second stringers sit, because they can stop play. They can simulate game situations, and both coaches get what they want out of practice. Last year, there was a poll among NFL head coaches, and it was about split down the middle as far as joint practices go. But Dan Campbell was definitely on the side where he is in favor of joint practices over preseason games. We know with Roger Goodell trying to push his agenda to get to an 18-game schedule that eliminating at least one or two preseason games is part of the deal. So these joint practices are going to be even more important in the future.
Yeah, I love the competition part and the way that they look at that. And you can tell by some of the guys that have been sitting out during these practices, like Brian Branch, Sam Laporta. He did caution the media not to get any worry about that. It's not like, oh my God, he's not going to be ready for the season. They're pulling these guys off because other guys need to get in there and get the reps and get better. Brian Branch's job is not in danger, and neither is Sam Laporta's job in danger. So they're letting some of the younger guys get out there and, crack some skulls, and don't worry about Brian Branch. That was one of the things that was out there. I'm out here in Arkansas. I made the trip. And here we are down here. I know the time's different. I'm glad that it's we went a little bit later today. We didn't want to compete with Dan Campbell's press conference while he was out there, because we are no competition for Dan Campbell's press conference. Anytime Dan's going to say something, we want to listen to it. Okay, we're going to bite a kneecap off since I don't have my drops.
Look, man, tell your ma, tell your pa, Russell Wayne's in Arkansas.
Hey, that's got a good little ring to it and a little rhyme to it. Oh, we got some people up in the comments already. Good morning, Fred Peterson. It's game week. Wow, it is game week. Let's go. Can you believe we're saying that? It seems like the summer took like an eternity. Oh, Davey, one pride. Go Lions! It takes more. It takes more. We had those two that were in before the show even started today. Appreciate you guys supporting like that. Detroit Fan Man says if and when Gibbs gets 1,000 yards passing, 1,000 yards rushing this year, I'll likely be done with pants forever.
TMI, Fan Man, TMI. And I know you meant 1,000 yards receiving, because Gibbs doesn't throw the ball very often. So we knew you meant receiving and rushing, but you'll be done with pants forever? I'm never wearing pants when I'm on this show. Are you kidding?
Yeah, we were done with pants a long time ago.
You're behind the curve, man.
Well, man, but what about that, man? They go out there, challenge. So I guess the story is, where this came from, is they interviewed Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Amon-Ra St. Brown said Jahmyr Gibbs has been hitting them jugs machines after the practice with Amon-Ra, putting in that work. And Amon-Ra challenged Jahmyr Gibbs to be like, yeah, I'll buy you anything that you want. Anything. Nothing, no price tag on this. If you get 1,000 yards receiving, 1,000 yards rushing. And Jahmyr Gibbs said he's up for the challenge. So let's see if he can pull that off. That's a stretch, isn't it?
No, well, Jahmyr Gibbs quote, and I quote, his actual words were, "Oh yeah, I'm going to break his bank. I might get a house." He might make Amon-Ra buy him a house if he gets 1,000 in each category.
Wouldn't that be something, though? I mean, when was the last time that happened? Do you know?
Did Marshall Falk get 1,000? You're going to make me Google it. If anybody out there's got the answer, put it in the comments for us. Has anyone ever got 1,000 receiving and rushing?
I think it has been done. I think you are right. But yes, please, somebody out there is a Google master and can go and find that information and plug that in there for us.
Right. Oh, we don't Google when we're on camera.
It's hard. Detroit Fireman says, by the way, Russ on his porch looks like the future of a great channel. Never mind, that's Arkansas. Could have guessed.
Yeah, but his point there is, that's your name of the new channel, Russ on his porch.
Russ on the porch.
You could play songs. You could talk about football. You could give, like hair tips for people for their, yeah. Russ on his porch. Somebody's running out right now and going RussOnHisPorch.com.
My hair tip is, I have saved thousands of dollars in haircuts over the years. I'm telling you, just a little $3 Bic that lasts 2.5 months. Yeah.
And all that shampoo you don't have to buy?
No shampoo. No extra bags for my vacuum cleaner with all the hair that's laying all over the floor. Oh my God.
J Mommy. It's happened 3 different times, Ross. 60 yards a game is more than enough to get 1,000 in each category. It's happened 3 different times.
Okay.
Call out J Mommy. Man, we have the best audience, don't you think?
We do. At least they're educated. Broski's a Bear fan. And what does he? Let's see if he's going to troll us here. Shave your eyebrows and then you'll really have it going on. Oh, yeah, I'm going albino. That's right.
I'm going full on Josh Dobbs or full on Jada Pinkett.
Yeah, I could be the Minnesota QB. I'd shave my eyebrows and I'm ready to go. Get Russ outside the pocket. I'm going to get killed right there. Oh, Detroit Fan Man was on it too. 3 guys have gone 1,000. CMC in 2019. Yeah. With who throwing him the ball? Like, who?
I think, was that it?
That wasn't Cam Newton.
That would have been with the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah. Was that one? Couldn't have been Cam Newton, could it have?
I believe that was Cam Newton.
Was it? Okay. CMC, Marshall Faulk in 1999 and Roger Craig. That's even more impressive. How impressive is that for Roger Craig to do that in 1985 when they ran the ball 7,000 times a game?
Right. Well, that was the West Coast offense, though, and
right.
that was when throwing out of the backfield became, the latest thing.
Yeah, well, Roger Craig was the one where everyone goes, "What is he doing out of the backfield?" Like, yeah. They're like a running back catching the football, and they're used to being like hand off, like,
right.
Oh gosh. Jerome says, "Hey, homie." Well, hey, homie, right back at you. We're ready to talk some football. We're ready for the preseason, honestly, to be over already. I'm ready for regular season, but we got to get these guys good. They asked about Hendon Hooker, and I know that there's a lot of, he hasn't been playing very well in preseason. Did they miss on this pick, or is it way too early to make that assessment?
I don't think they missed on the pick at all. The fact that he's struggling in camp is how it should be. He's an inexperienced player at the NFL level. So, I don't think there's any surprise there. And way too early to say you missed on this pick. We haven't seen him take a snap in the NFL yet. So, no.
Well, I just wanted to throw that out.
But I did call that out a month ago that I don't think that they are going to run with Nate Sudfeld and Hendon Hooker as your only backup quarterback. They're going to bring in a veteran. Mark my words. I did a great video of it over on the Villlin Squad page. Go check it out. And there's a great report from Brad Berryman on Sideline Report where he gets 3 different names of possible veteran QBs that could come in. One is Cooper Rush from the Dallas Cowboys. One is Taylor Heineke from the Atlanta Falcons, which that one really intrigues me. And then the final one is Ryan Tannehill, a name that we suggested here just a couple weeks ago. So there's some familiarity there with all 3 players to the state of Michigan or to Dan Campbell or to the Detroit Lions in some capacity. So those are 3 possible names of veteran QBs that could come in, but I really don't think they're just going to run with Hendon Hooker and Nate Sudfeld because that backup QB position is so important. Last year, 66 quarterbacks played in the NFL, started a game last year. 66. There are only 32 teams, folks. So, I know the Minnesota Vikings probably had 9 of them. But anyway, in the year before that, in 2022, 68 different quarterbacks started a game. So it goes to show you how important that backup quarterback position is. And if you're a team like the Lions, whose Super Bowl window is open, they are legit contenders. You cannot have a deficiency like your number 2 quarterback going into this season because Lord help us. If anything goes down with Goff, we need somebody that we can trust back there. I love to see Hendon Hooker, but I don't want to see him in he has to play situation.
Right. With what Dan Campbell said about Hendon Hooker, that they don't seem all that concerned about it. What they said was they threw a lot at Hendon Hooker. They thought that he could handle it, and they just threw everything at him. And he did struggle for a little bit, but they said what he needs is reps, and that's why they're throwing everything at him. They're like, he needs reps in his sleep. He needs reps. He just needs reps. He needs to do it and do it and do it and do it. And I want to see how he progresses in here. I'm going to go on the other side of that. I'm going to believe in Hendon Hooker that he's going to win that job, and they're not going to go outside and try to pick up some dude off the street that's got to pick up the entire offense like it quickly. If they were going to get a backup quarterback, in my opinion, that was going to have a chance like a Teddy Bridgewater, he would already be here.
Well, Joe Flacco did it last year. Came right in off the couch from eating potato chips, jumped right in and played the very next Sunday.
And I'm not saying that there isn't one of those guys that could do that. I'm just saying that's not in the Brad Holmes and the Dan Campbell MO to just be like, oh, okay, well, that didn't work here. Brand new guy, come in. You're in. Like, they like to have people that are, they're getting fused into the situation. They want you to understand the offense a little bit more. They don't want to do what the Browns did. I mean, really, don't compare Dan Campbell to the Browns, right? I mean, come on, man. This is why I trust Dan Campbell right there. He's 22-8. 22-8 since he got the beginning of this thing going. Right.
It should be noted that 3-13-1, Goff went down for 6 or 7 games in that stretch where they went 3-13. Had Goff played, they at least would have won a couple more games. I'm 100% confident of that. But we had to endure David Blau and Tim Boyle not winning a single game in the entire stretch that Goff was out. And look, as good as this team is around him, would be a real possibility if Goff went down again this year. The schedule's even harder. Every team in our division got better. We got to have Goff in there. And if we're not going to have Goff, I don't want the learning curve. I don't want Hendon Hooker taking his lumps in this season trying to learn on the fly. No, I'm sorry. I'd rather see a veteran. That'll piss a lot of Lions fans off because they want Hendon Hooker. A lot of them are crying for Hendon Hooker, but you're going to have to face the music, folks. They just signed Goff to a gigantic extension. He's not going anywhere. Right. Hendon Hooker will either be traded or he's going to sit on the bench until he's needed. That's the plan for Hendon Hooker. And I don't think that plan fits into a Super Bowl run.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I 100%. But the thing is, if Goff goes down, if you got Ryan Tannehill, you got Taylor Hunt, maybe you have a little bit better of a chance. But the fact of the matter is, if Goff goes down, it ain't going to be good no matter who you bring in here. I mean, honestly, when it comes down to it, and they're developing Hooker to be here, and they may trade him down the road, but this is the second year of a 4-year contract for this guy. Like, he ain't going nowhere either. I think they
re-signed the first year because last year was like a redshirt year, right? So
what I'm talking about is contracts. Contract wise, they get a 4-year deal, and like just because they brought Goff and said that he's going to be here for the next 4 years, that's great. But you need a backup quarterback, just like you said. And Hendon Hooker's the plan. I mean, he's going to continue to develop behind regardless of what they do. And he's going to be here this year and next year and the year after that, unless they do trade him. And they're not going to trade him unless he's good, unless he shows out. I mean, what are you going to do? Trade him for you get rid of him, kind of Justin Fields kind of trade? They're not going to trade him to admit defeat in the draft pick, right? They're just to get rid of him. So they're going to continue to develop him, and I'm excited. I'm really excited to see him in the preseason because they haven't even played a preseason game with him.
Oh, I think that's the number one thing Detroit Lions fans want to see in the preseason, maybe behind the rookie corners, but watching Hendon Hooker, and we totally believe that in the first real preseason game, which will be against Pittsburgh, right? Is that right? We're going to see Hendon Hooker on the first series, right? We're going to see Hendon Hooker on the first series. Oh no, I'm sorry, it'll be the Giants,
right?
August 8th.
You're talking home game, yeah.
I'm sorry, August 8th. Thursday, August 8th, against the New York Giants. I believe we'll see Hendon Hooker on the first series on the first down. And that's exciting for all of us. He is the new shiny thing. I love this comment by Broski Bear, who says the trade Goff because they drafted Hooker and he's more mobile and has a stronger arm. People were killing me. Some fans are really clueless. Agreed, Broski. Agreed. He's the shiny new thing, right? He was the shiny new toy, and everybody wants to see how it works. But you've got a stud in Jared Goff, and he's proven that, and his contract extension shows you that the Lions believe that too.
Well, and if you don't believe it, then you're just playing with fool's gold in your head, because all Jared Goff has done has proved haters wrong since the beginning. And the only reason you don't like him is because he can't escape the pocket. He's not a good mobile quarterback, okay? He's not going to be doing any RPOs anytime soon. He never will, okay? But as far as an accurate quarterback, the guy's a career almost 70% completion guy, and all he's done is win. When you traded him and discarded him, he goes to another team that goes 3-13 and builds another winner out of it. And you can't just keep on blaming all the other people for the good stuff. Oh, it was Sean McVay. Oh, it was the skill players. Oh, it was Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson wasn't there yet. Like, he had to build it up from nothing. It's not like he showed up and Amon-Ra, Laporta, and Gibbs and everybody were, hey, yeah, look, hey, way to set right in there, Goff. No, he had to grind through it. Look at that. 3-13-1, and then 1-6. He grinded. He had to find out how to win. And in the middle of all of that losing, there's one of two things that can happen to you. It will break you, and then you are never heard from again, which is what happens to most quarterbacks. But if you have leadership and you're able to weather the storm, then beautiful things can happen. And if you're not a believer in Goff, if you're one of the fans of the other team and you're like, yeah, what are you going to do with Goff? We're going to kick your ass with Goff and these playmakers and these weapons. I am so excited for this offense to be the number one offense in the entire NFL this year.
Well, that's such a good call out. And the two words that are often used to describe Jared Goff, especially by Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, are tough and resilient. And when you see the guy and you talk to the guy and he kind of looks like a baby giraffe out there fumbling around, wow, this guy's tough. No, this guy's one of the toughest there is. Mentally tough, physically tough. He never gets hurt, knock on wood. And resilience. He doesn't fold like a lawn chair, like you said, like what happens to some quarterbacks. It breaks their spirit. Maybe that's because Jared Goff's father was a professional baseball player. Right. He's seen what a pro looks like since the day he was born. I think that has a lot to do with it. Pedigree, your upbringing. Look at Christian McCaffrey is a great example of that too. I mean, he's born with it. And we are very, very blessed to have Jared Goff on this team. Man, what an exciting season. It seems like summer always flies by, but this summer seems to be taking forever.
Preparation is key. Like one of the things we were looking for common denominators when it comes to Brad Holmes draft picks. And you and I have been trying to crack this code, but I think that we got what the main ingredient is for what Brad Holmes looks for in draft picks. And it's exactly what you were talking about. You know, there are other players that aren't on the Lions that have these attributes, but it's these routine, grinding guys that the 1%ers that want to get better, like Christian McCaffrey. That's a great example of somebody from a different team. TJ Watt is another great example. These guys that it don't matter what team they're on, they're going to give you that practice during the offseason. They're looking to elevate their game to be like the greatest player of all time at their position. That's the kind of grind that they want. Now, other teams like to be like, okay, well, this guy's really fast. Oh, wow, he can do this or he can do that. But we want the mental, the good mental cases, and we want the guys that are willing to grind. And Jared Goff is one of those. Penei Sewell is one of those. Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of those. And not every player is built that way. Some people are coming to the NFL and just kind of want to hand it to them. Hey, I was the greatest college player ever. And then they run into a brick wall into the NFL. And if you're not mentally strong, that will break you as well. And that's what happens to most players that come into the NFL, especially with that type of attitude. So I'm glad that we got one of those guys in there, and it is going to be very exciting this season. Let's see what we got. Some more of these comments. Oh, Sarah's in here. Cool. Let's get back up in here. Elise memes. Let me. How far do I want to get up there?
Yeah, all from right. Elise memes down, I think is where we're at.
I'm awake. You guys still on? Yeah, we went a little bit later today. We might even be moving this show a little bit later because it just seems like more people want to come in at about 10 o'clock. We're going to see we're playing with this, guys. We are going to be consistent with this, but we want to be here when you want us to be here. And
we're trying to find the sweet spot, right?
We're trying to find the sweet spot, and I'm convinced that it's in the morning, but I can't decide whether it's 9 or 10 o'clock yet. So help me out, guys. Help me out. Try to figure this out because I want to work with you guys too. I can't make everybody happy, but we can find a happy medium. I'll go on 9:30, but what we
most men can't find the spot. So.
Oh, hey guys, good morning. McCarthy is playing with the ones. Hey, that's interesting right there. To me, especially we got Sam Darnold. That's an interesting thing. I'm going to go grab a coffee. Why don't you talk about the Minnesota Vikings and McCarthy for a second?
I will. JJ McCarthy is playing with the ones now. We did get that report out. If you look at his stats, his training camp stats, which I realize don't mean a doggone thing. The kid's starting to light it up. Kevin O'Connell, a former quarterback himself, is going to be great for his development. I still think, Sarah, Sam Darnold's going to be the starter on day one. Obviously, the preseason is really going to go a long way to showing what's up. Sarah, put it in the comments. How excited are you to see your new quarterback in the preseason? That's what we want to know. We have a LeBron James versus Michael Jordan conversation going in the chat. My goodness. As far as we go, we are split down the middle. I believe MJ is the greatest of all time. Russell, on the other hand, is a LeBron James slappy. So we don't want to get into this conversation on this football show, but I appreciate you guys going in the comments with it. So we got Darcy Maville in the comments today. What's up, Darcy? So good to see you in there. We got Detroit Fan Man. 9 a.m. is a bit too early, is what they say there. Russ. Also, okay. Randy Eldridge. Good morning, Randy. Mile marker 301. Just joined now, 10:30 for me. So Sarah says 9 a.m. is too early.
Okay. Maybe I'll move it.
Mommy, if anybody can get 1,000 yards rushing receiving, Gibbs has the best odds. Such a great take right there.
Oh, I love it, man. And thank you for the input on that, man. We wanna be here to serve you guys. We love football, but we're just a couple knuckleheads with a football podcast, and and the means to put it out there live. We just want to give everybody the opportunity to come in, maybe talk a little trash, because I know that we got some of the other fan bases in here. But most of all, I mean, and this isn't just a thing that we say. I gotta find my thing right here. But faith, family, and football. I want to really go into this. Mike and I wish nothing but the best for you guys out there. Like, I know that we talk a little bit of trash, we do all these little things, but faith, family, and football, in that order, we live that. That is the most important thing. Is we can love some football, but we love our families, and we don't let football get in the way of spending time with the family. We use football to spend time with our family. And we want to kind of preach that out there, because we don't want people to be so mad when their team loses. Like, I mean, if anybody knows about losing, it's us Detroit Lions, okay? So we have learned to cope and have coping mechanisms. So when your teams are losing this year to the Lions, I want you to understand that we still love you, that we love you as people. We wish nothing but the best for you in your life. And if we end up losing, we already know how to cope, because we've been losing for years. But if that's you, don't let it ruin your day. Don't let it ruin your week. Let it make you mad. Brush it off your shoulder and then move on. Next game, right? Just like our teams.
Mark Oram in the comments today. Mark Oram from Orum's Forum. You can check him out on YouTube. Great Lions fan there. Mark Oram in the house today. Love to see that.
Yeah, I want to put a shout out to Darcy right there, man. I made a little video for him for his Wednesday night show with John Macaroon, and we're, because of that, Mike and I are going to go to the Tampa Bay game together in Darcy Maville's seats. Got these tickets, and thank you very much, Darcy. Thank you for allowing us to sit in your awesome Darcy Maville seats there, and we get to experience a game there at Ford Field. And I haven't got to experience one at Ford Field since the Lions have been good. So we've been going to away games every year, which I'm not a very good luck charm because every time I go to an away game, we lose it. So
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to go to a away game, but we're going to the Indianapolis game this year. So hopefully I don't ruin it for you guys. But I just wanted to throw that out there. Faith, family, and football, man, in that order. Make sure that you do that. And I got this little message right here for you, Williams. NFL defenses are creeping up on you. And I know that you are the most highly touted quarterback ever, right? The most highly touted. And I know that you guys are already thinking 15-2 in Super Bowl, but NFL defenses are different. You know, those defensive ends that you were able to outrun in college are going to be faster. The linebackers are going to be as fast as the cornerbacks that are faster than you. So I think that mobile quarterbacks actually have a bigger learning curve than non-mobile quarterbacks, because the non-mobile quarterbacks have already had to learn how to navigate within the pocket and all that. And the mobile quarterbacks, especially the ones from college, they have been able to use their athleticism to escape and to make these plays longer. And the guys are just faster in the NFL. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to bust, but I am saying that the cockiness in which that fan base is going out there and thinking that this guy is just going to do it. I mean, you said it about Fields. You said it about Trubisky. What's so different about Caleb Williams and those other guys that were also picked in the top of the draft? Justin Fields was just as highly touted as a national championship game type of quarterback, and he was as highly touted as any quarterback.
Have to disagree with you there. The hype around Justin Fields was nothing compared to Caleb Williams. And if you're a Bears fan, how do you not be excited? Go watch the kid's tape. You know what? Don't even bother doing a deep, in-depth tape study on Caleb Williams. Just go watch a highlight reel. Go watch out, and you can say, oh, every player's got a great highlight reel. No. Mm-hmm. If you know what you're looking at, if you know football, watch Caleb Williams and watch the things he does. He's a mobile quarterback. Yeah, but he's not a run-first quarterback. He always keeps his eyes downfield. He's very slippery in the pocket, not like Justin Fields, but the way he can read defenses. He has touch. He can make every throw. He has the most Mahomes-like skill set we have seen coming out of college. And how do you not be excited if you're a Bears fan? Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, DeAndre Swift. These are guys they brought in, folks. Kevin Byard on both sides of the ball. We saw what an impact Montez Sweat had on the defense halfway through the season last year with Eberflus taking over. If I was a Bears fan, I'd have a much thicker mustache for one thing. Also, I would be very, very excited about this upcoming season. So I don't blame those Bears fans a bit, Russ. Caleb Williams is not going to be a bust. I believe he's going to be the real deal. The only thing that worries us on that is between the ears, the mental aspect of the game.
Most important thing.
We're seeing Caleb Williams come into the league as an above-board millionaire. He is a millionaire the day he's drafted, already a millionaire from the NIL in college, and that is something we haven't seen yet. He's the first. He's the one of one right now of that first round, that first overall pick coming in as a millionaire, and it makes you wonder how that's going to affect the mental aspect of it. To me, that's the biggest question mark, because physically he has all the tools. Weapons around him, he's set. The offensive line is mid. Okay, that's the one thing they got to worry about, is that offensive line being mid, but the rest of the team's looking good. Bears are going to be tough this year. Write it down.
I like that call. And I'm not, every time I push back on Caleb Williams, I am hit like with, I think that he's going to be awful. I'm not thinking that he's going to be awful, but you Bear fans are ridiculous. 15-2 your first year. Really, you did, like I said, you did that with last year with, you better watch out for Justin Fields. 15-2, win the division, Super Bowl. 4 games into, you guys are just setting yourself up for disappointment. I mean, if you said Yeah, Caleb Williams is going to come into this great situation and he's going to do well. He's going to win 11 games. They might even win the division. If you said that, I would go, that's possible. That's possible for a quarterback to come into a good situation. But to come in and dominate the NFL and to come in and all of a sudden just put yourself into the Super Bowl, which has really only happened, Dan Marino was the example of that. Come on, man. Come on, man. I mean, it's okay to be liking your team. I think that the Chicago Bears have a number one pick going into maybe the best situation a number one pick has ever went into. I will acknowledge that. Acknowledge me. That's where I wish I had my freaking drops.
And I'll tell you, no way the Bears make it to the Super Bowl. No rookie quarterbacks ever made it to the Super Bowl. Dan Marino did it in his second year.
Oh, so and Joe Burrow did too. So
in his second year. So right. And there was a great tweet from Marino to Joe Burrow. Keep your head up, kid. You've got the rest of your career to not get back. So that I'm telling you, but they could make the playoffs, Russ. The Bears could make the playoffs for sure.
So when Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl, I really think they're going to look back at this moment that they had an opportunity to take Penei Sewell over Jamar Chase, and they're going to regret it. Because now, that may have been good for the 1 year, right? Oh, yeah, Jamar, now he's got his buddy. That's cool, but now look where you're at. T. Higgins, you got to pay him. Jamar Chase, you got to pay him. You still got nobody to protect your quarterback. So you may have made a mistake passing on a generational left tackle for your team, and you may have made a mistake you made it to the Super Bowl. You made it to the Super Bowl, and you decided to take a luxury. You're taking luxury picks when you're lining up your wide receivers like that, and you didn't have multiple first-round picks. Now, Lions took a extra picks right there, but they had extra picks. They were able to fill other spots first. But you got to protect your franchise quarterback. So I think they're going to look back and regret the day that they glossed over Penei Sewell and went with Jamar Chase.
I'd like to throw this question at you, Russ, from Detroit Darcy. What are you guys looking for against the Giants?
Keep that up there. Keep that up there. That was while we had that.
The obvious answer, Darcy, is right. No injuries on both sides. We don't want to see the Giants or Lions or anyone in the NFL get hurt in the preseason, for crying out loud. So that's the number one thing, to get out of it without any major injuries. And obviously I kind of wish we're scrimmaging a team with better wide receivers to test our new corners. But that's the one thing everybody wants to see, is how these new corners do. And if Daniel Jones plays, if we could see one of these rookies get a pick, that would be awesome. So that would be encouraging. And I, of course, no injuries. So for me, that's the answer.
I got a couple answers for that. I mean, really, the obvious answer is secondary, because there's so many of them, and it's not necessarily, oh gosh, do we have enough good secondary pieces? I think they're all good. I think of just where they're going to fall on that little Plinko board, where they're going to end up setting, who's going to get the first team reps, who's going to get the second team reps, and where their first depth chart is. I'm interested to see that. I'm interested to see Matthew Betts, because Dan Campbell's talked about him on a couple of different occasions, and it's not necessarily all good, but they threw a lot at Matthew Betts. They think a lot of his athleticism. So he's got a really good pass rushing move. So what they're trying to do is put him in one of the linebacker roles too and cross-train him there. It seemed to be a little bit much for him. So they dialed it back again. But I think they really like what they see in Betts. And I really want to see what he can do in real game time against other teams.
That's such a good call. Go ahead. Sorry.
And then the third one is obvious, that wide receiver. That wide receiver, I'm going to call it 4 or 5, because I do believe that the first three are locked in with Amon-Ra, Jamison Williams, and Khalif Raymond. I mean, and you may not even call Khalif Raymond the receiver 3, but he has carved out a role and he will be there no matter where you want to put him in that pecking order. Now, you got Donovan Peoples-Jones, you got Darius Fountain, and Antoine Green maybe fighting for one spot. I don't know if we're going to keep 4 or 5 wide receivers. I think where they have these guys as far as where they could get waiver wires, there's a couple of guys that might clear waivers on the Lions team. So they may not keep as many wide receivers. I'm curious to see which position is going to get the extra positions. Who's going to get the extra ones? Because when you get down that low, you're not only competing with other wide receivers, but you're also competing with backup defensive ends, backup linebackers, backup wherever the talent is. You better be able to play special teams or you may get squeezed off of this roster.
And I love the call out of Matthew Betts. That is a very intriguing. Want to see how that kid does. Also, James Houston, he's only got 8.5 sacks in 11 games, right? So that's, poo-poo on him. But the injury that he suffered, I have heard, I don't know if this is true or not, so don't take it as the gospel, but I have heard that the reconstruction of his ankle involved ropes and pulleys in his leg. Now, that's true. Now that I don't know if that's true, but if that's true, I mean, pins, plates. Now you're talking about ropes and pulleys. Is this kid ever going to come back? And that will be interesting to see how much they use him in the preseason. We know DJ Reader's not going to play. He's still recovering from a quad, and he's a real veteran. We know Marcus Davenport's not going to play because he's made out of China. So Matthew Betts and James Houston and Josh Paschal, those are going to be very interesting battles to see who emerges from these scrimmages as the backup, because I think everybody's assuming that Davenport's going to be the backup. So I love the Matthew Betts call out. I also love the wide receiver call out that you made. Joe Chapp over at Detroit Lions News, where we are broadcasting live right now on Detroit Lions News podcast channel. He put out a great post yesterday, and it gave us the updated depth chart. And surprise, surprise, Darius Fountain was the second team X receiver. Donovan Peoples-Jones was the third receiver. He was running with the third team. He'd been relegated to third team, and Darius Fountain has passed him on the depth chart. So I love your call out there on the receiver battle as well. These are all interesting things that are going to shake out as the next few weeks unfold. So great question, Darcy. Thanks so much for asking it.
Yeah, man, it's a very exciting preseason for the Lions over. I mean, a lot of our starters are already kind of set into those spots. I mean, I don't think that there's any offensive line starters that are up for grabs. Like Sam Laporte is locked in there. There's no quarterback battles, no running back battles. I mean, the battles start in the depth, which makes the preseason really exciting for that team, right? To see where your depth is. To me, it's scary if you're out there trying to find out who starters are on your team in preseason. Like that, I remember that feeling very, very well. This is a very comfortable feeling that I'm in this year, knowing that there's not too many. We're bringing back a team that went to the NFC Championship, and they're having guys that are competing for those other spots where they were weak. So it's like, it's very, very exciting to be a Lions fan right now, especially when it comes to the depth chart here. And I'm really looking for it. And that's not even it. There's a lot of other good battles. Where's Brian Branch going to land? Like, I mean, is he really going to be a safety in there? Because he was one of the best slot corners in the league last year in his rookie year. So do you really want to move him? They seem to think that putting him back in a safety position with Aaron Glenn's defense, I guess safety is it's a very opportunistic. You're going to have a lot of opportunities to get turnovers in that safety position, a lot more than the slot corner position, because the slot corner, you're right up on the line of scrimmage. You got to be playing a lot more of the run. Brian Branch is going to be able to sit back in that safety position and be able to survey the whole field, and he may have a lot of opportunities to get interceptions. I mean, it was schemed so well last year that Ifeatu Melifonwu, this is a cool thing where when he was interviewed, he was like, Aaron Glenn was telling him where to go, and he was just listening, and he'd say this and this and this and this is going to happen, and then you're going to have a chance to get an interception right at this spot, and he would do exactly what Aaron Glenn would tell him to, and then he would get that interception. Brian Branch is a more instinctive type of player. He ain't going to have to be told a lot of that stuff exactly where to go. So Brian Branch is going to be able to play that roaming safety position probably better than anybody that's been back there.
It's a great call out. We got some really good comments in here, especially about our Caleb Williams discussion. Okay. J Mommy says Caleb didn't play against any good defenses in college. I watched him in the Colorado team last season. It's a good call out. And as far as let's pump the brakes on Caleb Williams going to the Super Bowl here, Bears fans. Peyton Manning, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Look at his rookie year. Right, great call out there.
Right.
C.J. Stroud's rookie year last year will be better than Caleb's this year. That's from Chance. Thanks for Chance for being in here. And then Sarah says Caleb is definitely one of a kind. No one else paints their fingernails. So, Mo Brisky is in the house today. Thanks for being here, Mo. Mo says I already have a Motor City pizza in the freezer for Thursday this week. I've never heard of a Motor City pizza. What are the toppings? Despair and frustration? Okay. Hey, Mommy says, what she's looking forward to in this Giants scrimmage is I want to see how the young guys do. I believe the defensive backfield is going to be really good. Such a good call out, J Mommy. If that defensive backfield is really good, like you say, we could be looking at, 13 wins if Goff stays healthy. If everything gels right, you're talking about the 5th overall offense last year and the 29th ranked overall defense. So if we get even just a mid-grade defense, if we're in the top 15, this team, Detroit Lions, are going to be very, very dangerous.
You see how Mike did that?
Go ahead.
Did you see how that happened? Like, Bear fan, did you see what Mike did right there? I don't know if you missed it. Mike said, if our team is really, really good and things go our way, the NFC Championship team that went to the NFC Championship, that was the best team in the North, might win 13 games. Do you see how he did that? He didn't say, oh, wow, yeah, man, we improved 2 spots on our offense and defense, so we're going to win 17 games and go to the Super Bowl and win it all. You see how Mike did that there? It's called realistic expectations based off of last year's what we did last year on top of what we did to improve, right? We didn't just get a guy and be like, yeah, 17-0. Yeah, 17-0. It's like, come on, man. Like your quarterback. I have no problem with you liking your quarterback. Oh, man. We're live on Roku. I want to put a little shout out to Bill the Packer fan. Actually started this NFL Huddle sports network on Roku. And you know what? And this is where the whole faith family football comes in right here. It's like, I don't like Bill the Packer fan's team, but I like Bill the Packer fan as a person because he grinds and he understands that you have to grind to be successful in life. And he started this network. That's a lot of work to put a sporting network together on Roku. And I give you the props, man. I mean, whether it fails, whether it happens, you keep putting the work in. And I'm happy to be part of the Huddle Sports Network. And we're trying to help grow this thing. So go check it out on Roku.
Ty Dawes in the house says JETS on your mother's face. I'm not sure if that's pro Jets or anti Jets, but I like the comment anyway. Oh, our good friend Ken Fisher in the house. Lions 13, Packers 11, Vikings 9, Bears 7. My prediction for win totals. You got the Vikings at 9, Sarah. You see that? Ken has the Vikings at 9. And then Sarah says, well, we're projected to win 3 games, so us winning over 3 already exceeds expectations. I don't know where you saw expected to win 3 games. The over-under for Vegas for the Minnesota Vikings is 6.5. So I think that's going to be a hard number for them to reach. I think I like the under there. I think I like the over for the Bears, which is 7. I think I like the over for the Lions, which is 10.5. And the Packers is also at 10.5. I think they win 11, but that could be 10. So that's a tough one. I would stay away from that Packers over under 10.5. That's just your advice here from Main Event Mike.
So here's I'll say this about Sarah's team right here is you got skill players. You got some skill players over there. You got Hawkinson, you got Jefferson. Addison's going to be probably suspended for a minute, but you still got these great wide receivers over there. And they did pretty good with Nick Mullins last year. So if J.J. McCarthy can come in and be average, I think that Minnesota could be one of the teams that surprises a couple people, especially with Brian Flores over as a D coordinator. So I'm not going to sleep on the Vikings at all when it comes to this. We'll have to see how it gels. They got a very young team too. They had to get themselves out of cap hell, and they're in the final year of really flipping that script. And Kwesi, I know that we've given Kwesi a really hard time, and I'm still going to continue to give him a hard time until he comes out of it. But it wouldn't surprise me if J.J. McCarthy ends up being a pretty good quarterback over there, and really Justin Jefferson and TJ are going to help him out a lot.
Wow.
Aaron Jones.
In the and the nominee for the worst analogy in history goes to Broski Bear. Saying Caleb never played a good defense at college when he did and he wasn't good. What's the difference? Playing the Lions defense, they aren't good. And here's the terrible analogy. They're softer than a pillow made of clouds. Do better, Broski. A pillow made of clouds? Come on.
And you think that's going to be the defense is going to be soft, right? This is the proof that you only watch your own team. This is the proof that you only look at what your team does in the offseason and you pretend. And I don't know if you're trying to convince yourself of this, Broski, but you pretend that none of the other teams did anything. Like Brad Holmes didn't sit back and go, we have the 29th ranked secondary. We should not do anything about that. We got better too, Broski. So you get to progress and we get to progress. But the difference between my team and your team is you're going with a rookie quarterback. My quarterback has been to a Super Bowl and 2 NFC championships and has experience. And to say our team is soft, okay, that's fine. We had a defensive line that was in the top 10 in pressures last year. Now, we didn't get home on the sacks. Why didn't we get home on the sacks, Mike?
Because the secondary was trash.
Because the secondary was trash. And what did we do, Mike? We got 5 of the league in
pressure. We led the league in pressures.
How many secondary pieces did we get to help?
You keep saying 5, but I can only count 4 because Emmanuel Mosley, it was already there. So every time you say 5, I am confused on who the 5th is.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that you gave Emmanuel Mosley's 2 snaps so much credence from last year.
Good.
Wow. Okay. All right. Okay.
So it is Mosley then.
4 guys plus Mosley.
Mosley is the 5th one. Okay. I just want to make sure.
Mosley's the 5th one because he played 2 snaps last year. Actually, he's played 2 snaps ever for the Lions. So, yeah, okay. But
Ken Fisher says the only Bears I know are Yogi and Boo Boo.
Hey, Boo Boo, want to go get some picnic baskets?
Hey, fuck the Ranger, Boo Boo.
Oh, the Bears. Hey, but it wouldn't surprise me to see the Bears do well. For every reason that you were talking about with Caleb Williams, he's going into a good situation. Hopefully his mentality can, handle that. Because I also saw him crying in his mother's arms after one of the losses in the game. Now, you may say that shows passion, but that may show to the people that aren't Homer Bear fans that he might be weak-minded and people might be able to get under his skin so much that, what do you think? The NFL is going to be easier?
You are watching the Lions Villlin Report on the Villlin Squad Network, broadcasting live in Facebook on Lions Villlin Squad, also on YouTube at Villlin Squad and at JC Sports, also broadcasting live into the Huddle Sports Zone on Roku TV. And we love to see other fan bases in here. No Packers today, I noticed. We got some Bears, we got some Vikings in here, lots of Lions fans, of course. But Broski Bear, you've got a great comment here, and I want to, I'm not going to, I think that this at least has some credence where you say Lions replaced average at best corners. No, I'm going to go ahead and give you that those were below average corners. And average at best probably described Cam Sutton, our best corner, was average at best. And you replaced them with other average at best corners, talking about Amik Robertson and Carlton Davis. I do think Carlton Davis is a little better than average from what he's shown when he was with Tampa, but I think there's some credence to what you're saying there. These guys weren't L'Jarius Sneed, right? These guys were not some of these lockdown free agents. Stephon Gilmore still sitting out there. Instead, we went and got these guys that had the right character, had the right fit for our team. So I think there's some credence to what you're saying there. But the last line, Lions have two huge holes on their D line and slow, tired safeties. That is a terrible take. That is so far from the truth. I got to give you credit where credit's due. When you do hit, I'm going to call it out that you hit, even if that means I have to put my own team down. I don't care. But when you say that we have two glaring holes on the defensive line, are you kidding? This defensive line is going to be one of the toughest in the league this year. And we're 5-6 guys deep in a rotation on this D line. You'll see. You're going to find out that.
Well, top 10 in pressures.
Go ahead, Russ.
Top 10 in pressures. I mean, that's what the defensive line is, and they added DJ Reader to that. And when you say slow, tired safeties, Brian Branch ran 23 miles an hour when he got that interception return for a touchdown last year. That's pretty slow. And when you say, what was that, what he said about the cornerbacks, that we're replacing average at best, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And at best, and it's not average. Average is 16th in the league, broski. We were 29th in the league. Those guys were so far below average. So, yeah, you're right. We replaced those guys with two rookies that are way more talented. Wow, the worst case scenario is that they're average, broski, which improves the defensive secondary. Number two, you brought in Carlton Davis, who has won a Super Bowl as a cornerback in the NFL, who has proven that he can cover the best. As a matter of fact, Jamar Chase said that it was the hardest corner that he's ever went up against. You brought in Amik Robertson, who is a dog on top of everything else. So, yeah, we replaced an old, tired secondary with 5 capable players that are going to be playing. And it's going to be a night and day difference. Night and day difference. So, old and tired, please, before you make the comments, before you go out there, at least read up on the team. Like, figure out what they did in the offseason before you just make empty statements like our defensive line has huge holes in it. Come on, man. Yeah, work on that game. Work on that trash talk game right there. I mean, root it in facts and reality, please.
We finally have a Packer join the show today. Steve, our favorite Packer fan in the world, he thinks Spencer Rattler will be the best quarterback from this draft class. I can't put you down for that take because the Senior Bowl, he was by far the best quarterback there. So he might be a steal in the draft. And where did he get drafted? New Orleans. And who does New Orleans have for a quarterback? A bum!
A bum!
Bum! So absolutely, Spencer Rattler was put into a great situation. He could excel there. And I love that take. Time will tell, obviously. But I think that's a great take that can't be dismissed.
Oh, Sarah's in with her daily Davin poop sighting right here. You think he's not made out of glass? For a dude as big as Davin poop, you think that he's not made out of glass? Davin poop has been at all of the training camp. Looks to be completely healed from his What's going on?
Davin poop. It just cracks me up.
Well, he's been at all the practices. We'll see if he can last more than 2 games. The thing that intrigues me about Davin Poop is that when he does play, he's pretty impactful. Like, I mean, what did he play? He played 1 game last year for the Vikings and had 2 sacks. I mean,
4 sacks. He had 4 sacks. No, 2 sacks in 4 games. 4 games, 2 sacks. Yeah.
4 games, 2 sacks. So, I mean, you guys brought him in to be the starter on the other side, and that was it. You wanted to have Hunter and Davin Poop running the whole thing. That's not what we're asking him to do. And if he can stay healthy, and I think that we can keep him healthy because I don't think that he's going to be playing as many snaps. That we want to run a rotation on that other side of Hutchinson. We don't want a guy that's going to play 90% of the snaps like Hutchinson on the other side. We want 2-3 guys with very different skill sets. So it's not just Davenport. It's Davenport, James Houston, Pascal, and Betts. They want to run a healthy rotation playing matchups on the other side of that. So, no, we're not depending on Davenport to be the entire pass rush. We got other guys.
Right. Some great comments coming in here from Rare Reed says, I can't wait till the season starts. You help us get fired up. Yeah, it just can't come fast enough. Our good old friend Corey in the house thought Cousins got hurt. I did not know that. But yeah, I like this call out from Sarah too. It's a little further up in the feed that I forgot about it. I can't find it actually, but she says L'Jarius Sneed is not going to get away with all the holding with Tennessee that he did when he was with the Chiefs. And I think this brings up a really great point that the NFC North has to play the AFC South this year, right? Which is the Texans and the Colts and the Jaguars and the Titans. So look out for the Tennessee Titans. Last year, the Detroit Lions swept 2 whole divisions. This year, we got to play the NFC West, much tougher, and the AFC South, much tougher than those 2 divisions we played last year. Do not mark the Tennessee Titans as a gimme win for your team, Packer fans, Viking fans, Lions fans, Bears fans. The Titans are the real deal. That defense is going to be tough. Right. Just the additions in the secondary that they have, L'Jarius Sneed, all-pro. Chidobe Awuzie is signed over there as the other corner. So they have one of, if not the toughest corner tandem right behind Dallas in the entire league. And now they just signed 2 days ago, former All-Pro Quandre Diggs is as the safety. They've already got Justin Simmons. They've a history of great defensive line and offensive line play, which they've taken an offensive lineman in the last 2 drafts back-to-back. Will Levis is up and down, but he's got a cannon. Look at the weapons they have. They brought in Tony Pollard, who's going to be a great check down option for Will Levis now out of the backfield. They've got Tyjae Spears, a dynamic young running back. Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, who's going to miss the first 4 games, they say, with an injury now. But they brought in Tyler Boyd as a slot receiver, and you still got Treylon Burks coming off the bench. They are loaded. The Tennessee Titans have had the best offseason of any team, maybe outside of Chicago, that I have seen in a long time this year. Look out for the Titans running through the NFC North, getting 2 or 3 wins out of us. What do you think of that, Russ?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. Broski's coming at me, so I have to look at this. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit out. Carlton Davis has been in the league. Season's never made a Pro Bowl. Amik Robertson isn't good at all. And see, this is what I'm talking about, Broski. We're on here telling you how good your team is and what you've done in the offseason, and then you disrespect our team. And then he says, dude, I know all of the moves. Davenport, Houston, Pascal starting, that's a joke. Martin starting at D tackle, that's also a joke. See, right now you're exposing yourself. You are exposing yourself, because if you were watching the teams like you say you are, you would know that Levi Onwuzurike has been the best defensive tackle in our training camp so far. And then Mosley hasn't been healthy since 2019. You're hoping for an injured player to miraculously be healthy? No, I'm not hoping for a miraculous recovery. I was very surprised when he showed up at the first training camp practice and was actually repping with the ones after coming back from his injury. No, none of us expected that, but you probably didn't know that because you weren't paying attention to anything other than what happened last year, which was, here's the Lions with the 19th ranked defense in the league. Yeah, I understand that's what we were. But for you to just take every move that we did and just say every move that we made was trash, that's fine. And if you're right, then cool. That's fine. But you're just trolling. When you come on here and just say every move that we made is awful and that we just can't depend on any of them, you're just trolling. And I'm calling you out for that, because I'm not saying that you shouldn't drink your Kool-Aid. I'm just saying that you shouldn't say you're going to be 17-0 or 15-2. So right there, you're drinking the Kool-Aid, and just because the Lions signed them, you're claiming that they're twice as good. I'm not. I'm saying that we made 5 signings in the secondary, and I'm saying that I'm expecting one of them guys to be pretty good. You know, why can't I expect one of my guys to be good? And you're trying to convince me. You're telling me I'm drinking the Kool-Aid? You're trying to convince me that all 5 of those guys are trash that they got. Terrion Arnold, trash. Ennis Rakestraw, trash because they're rookies. Amik Robertson, trash, right? Carlton Davis, trash. He's never made a Pro Bowl. Emmanuel Mosley, he's injured. So none of those are going to work out, and every one of your players are going to work out. Is that what you're trying to convince us?
And that's why every Raider fan on the internet was throwing their hands up about losing Amik Robertson. Antonio Pierce actually came out and goes, ooh, that one hurts. Losing Amik Robertson hurts. He's a scrappy young player. And guess what? He's cheap, broski. It's not like we went out and paid him Jaquan Brisker money. It's not like we went out there and paid him, whatever. This guy, I mean, and by the way,
love this guy, by the way, Broski, you are awesome.
By the way, Broski, guess who made these moves? One, Bradley Michael W. Smith Holmes. Okay, Brad Holmes made these moves. Who has a track record that I know you're scared. I can hear the fear in your comments because you know in the back of your mind that this wasn't, what's his name? Matt Patricia or Dan Quinn or any of these guys making these picks. This is the new Lions. This is Brad Holmes' Lions. This is a guy who hits on free agents and he hits on draft picks. His free agent record, I'll give you, is not as good as his draft, but as far as evaluating talent, this is the man that scouted Aaron Donald. Don't tell me that Amik Robertson, Carlton Davis aren't going to be good additions to this team, because they will be.
Thank you, Broski.
We sure appreciate the interaction. Yeah. I've actually got a jet, Russ. Appreciate you having me on your show. Don't forget, tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time, it's our weekly show. We only do one show at night, and that's once a week at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Tonight, I am the host. It's called The Main Event. And Russell Wayne will be that producing from the porch, I'm sure. And we are going to do training camp storylines tonight. At 7 p.m. We hope you'll all join us. Welcome back to the program, Fred. Glad to see you're back. We're also going to wrap up our series of top 11 position rankings in the NFC. It could just be a top 10 list, but ours go to 11. Why does it go to 11, Russ? What did the coach say?
It takes more.
It takes more.
It takes more.
To 11, and it says defensive linemen there, but it's actually edge rushers.
We changed it.
Which means Danielle Hunter will not be in it because it's only in the NFC and he plays in the AFC now. But it does mean that Aiden Hutchinson will be on this list, and it will be interesting to see what other defensive ends we are talking about tonight. Join the conversation. That show is also audience driven, just like this show. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for having me on. God bless. Have a great day.
That was awesome. Mike's so good at the end stuff right there. And I wanted to give you some props there. Thank you, Broski, for coming in, and because you did say 5 cornerbacks that at the beginning, and I appreciate it. That's what I like to do, is have conversation, and to be realistic conversation too. I'm not trying to just tout my own team, and of course I'm going to tout my team more than, I mean, I'm a fan of my team, right? And everybody does that thing. My bad. I'm trying to find, I don't know what's wrong with my stuff. Oh, there we go. There. And there. What? Why? There it is. Okay, my bad. So, Broski, I appreciate having the conversation with you. I actually love the fact that you come in there. No way I'm scared of the Lions. Nowhere I'm scared of Lions. They aren't physical. They're just a finesse dome team. The Bears match up very, very well against them. Remember the mauling last December. Wow, I remember beating you guys. I mean, you guys love that 1-1 thing, right? You guys are just like the Packers in that way. You split with the Lions, and are we dominating the division now? I mean, the Lions are pretty damn physical. I got the Vikings going 20-0 until the season starts. Oh, Fred Peterson, Davenport, and Brad Holmes questionable. Maybe Brad Holmes on questionable pickup this offseason. The Broski says that the purple Kool-Aid drink, LOL, right there, LMO. Bro knows that he's doomed. All right. I enjoyed this discussion, too. I'm glad that you said something good about Terrion Arnold. I thought that was a great pick by the Lions, that they were able to move up and get that guy. I know that he was supposed to be like a top 10 pick, and the way that, I mean, I don't even know why the draft went that way. They just took all offensive players, and it just kept on dropping those guys down further and further and further. And until they got up to 21, the Lions got to make the decision, move up, get your guy. Go up there and get your guy. And then a lot of Lions fans had Ennis Rakestraw mocked in the first round at 29. And the fact that they were able to get him at 61, I mean, there was just so many good offensive players in this draft that defense seemed to fall. I mean, not only to my team, but a lot of the teams were able to get some pretty good defensive players late. Fred, I think I got everybody in here. Let's see what you got in here. I love the Gibson and Crawford picks. I was the only Bears fans that liked those picks. I know a lot of Lions fans, Broski, did not. And your name's awesome to say, too, when I'm responding to you. Be like, what's up? Come on, Broski. What's up? I liked those picks, but there was a lot of Lion fans that were in here that were surprised on those picks. And it took the Lion fans a couple days to get over that pick. You know what I'm saying? Like, we wanted who was it? Jalen Carter. That was the big guy out there. They wanted to get a big defensive line guy, and you do make a point in there where you got the questions. They could have spent big money on the defensive lineman. You're right about DJ Reader. DJ Reader might not be ready right off the bat, but DJ Reader next to Aleem McNeil, next to Aiden Hutchinson is scary. That's a scary run defense. I don't know why you would say that they're not physical. I think that the Lions match up very, very well against all of the teams in the NFC North. And I think it's going to be a battle. The Bears are better. The Vikings are better. The Packers are better. And the Lions are better. I think that all four teams have elevated to the point where we were one of the worst divisions in the league to now where I think that the NFC North is probably going to be maybe even the best division in football. I saw a prediction in there that had the last place team, winning 7 games, 8 games, 9 games. I could see all 4 teams. It's possible that all 4 teams would have a winning record, or an 8-9, 9-8, 11-13 win team. It's possible. But we're winding up here a little bit. Got my show tonight with Mike. I'm going to be producing. Mike's going to be hitting up the top 11 pass rushers in the NFC. Remember, it's just the NFC. And faith, family, and football. Broski, I love you, brother. And I want you to know that that's not just me just saying that. I wish the best for everybody that listens to the words that are coming out of my mouth every day here. And whether you're a Bear fan, Viking fan, Lion fan, or a Packer fan, that I want good things to happen for you. I want you to succeed in life. I want all the blessings that you have coming to you to come to you. And I don't hold it against you that you follow a crappy team, because I love you as a human being. It's faith, family, and football in that order. We use football to spend time with our family. That's what we like to preach here. Use football to spend time with your family. Don't let football use you. And may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again for football talk. Russell Wayne and main event tonight. Peace and love.
Yo, the lies so that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, canvas open wide, so embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes win. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose what I get to, never lose smooth on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we winning it, maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision and pay me, it's never the sway. We indigenous, maybe we winning this crazy. Your opportunity. Your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity.